Hello there, Boots Owen here. This is a Haier washing machine. It's, I don't know, about 15 years old. I'm going to attempt a repair on it, and it's kind of irrelevant that it's a Haier because the issue could happen to any washing machine, and maybe this will sort it out. This machine is failing to fill sufficiently. So when you turn it on, water comes in through the blue pipe at the back, in through the solenoid, and drips down into this drawer, down into the machine. And it only puts in a little bit, and it's not enough to wash the clothes, and it's certainly not enough to rinse them, so they come out smelling musty, so they're not really clean. To get around that, I found an ingenious workaround where I've put a faucet on here that can go into the drawer either side, and you just top it up as you want. But you need to be around during the rinse cycles to top it up at the right time, otherwise it'll wash correctly but not rinse correctly, so your clothes are still a bit soapy. So they've been sludging around with soap and then they don't get rinsed properly. Not ideal either. So it works, but it doesn't really work because it's not an automatic machine anymore. I posted a video last week, a few days ago really, saying this is the issue. This is what I've done, but it's the issue. And quite a few comments came in, and I was really glad of that because I asked a question that is something I've never come up against before. I could kind of understand if there was no water, but the fact that it's not filling adequately suggests to me that it's the pressure valve, which I'm pointing at here because I suspect it's under that side of the machine, but I've never been in this one, or at least I haven't been in it in the last 10 years. So water's getting in, which suggests the solenoid valve's working. It's filling, so there's pressure from the water there, which suggests that it's not the filter on the inlet hose. I think it's the pressure switch because it's telling the machine that there's adequate water in it. It's not going to the point where it's taking too long to fill, which would throw an error code. That would be a symptom of the water coming in and then back siphoning or siphoning out through the waste pipe, grey pipe down there. And that could be an issue if the grey pipe's pushed down too far into the wastewater trap down there. I don't think it's that one. So what I'm going to try today is to take off the hose from the pressure switch, pressure sensor, and blow down it. And if there's any crud in the hose, it should dislodge it. That's the idea. Could be crud in the hose, I don't know. Don't know what it'll be like. So there's two screws at the back of this machine. They come up from underneath, which is a right pain, especially when the machine's in situ. But if you tilt it forward, you can get them out, and I've done that already. Haven't looked yet, so let's see what's in here. How does it come off? Oh, no. Let's see, it's gonna be a bit of wrestling here, I think. Forward and up, okay. Forward and up. Forward and up, and we're off, okay. The machine is in a bathroom, so I've got it wired through a fused spur, that thing there, this one here, and as you can see, it's turned off. This is the pressure switch. This has a hex key in here, so some people said adjust this. I don't think that's really an option with a painted on hex plug there. I don't think you can adjust that. Reaching underneath, I don't feel anything underneath that feels adjustable. So we're back to the hose thing, in which case I need a pliers to get that clip off. So let's try and get in here as we are, even though it'll be easier with two hands. Let's pull this around. I've got the pliers on it, but we're not there yet. I could also take the two screws out and hop that pressure valve out, but the pressure switch, I keep calling it a valve and it's not a valve. All right, give this a twist and a tug. Look down it, brace myself. It didn't feel like there was any back pressure there at all. Not a good sign. There wasn't any back pressure at all. There's nothing like it was popping or anything. The faulty switch here is not really where I want to be. The workaround works, but it's a pain. So let's put this back on and give it another try. I've tried option number one. I don't think this is an adjustable affair here. I would also like to vacuum out all of this because it's a little bit dusty. Equally, it's the inside of a washing machine. Can I find anything that tells me when it was made? Sometimes you can look in and see a bit of plastic with a code on it. I don't see anything. There, what does that say? '05? That could be the year code. No, there's one. Okay, there's a date. 2010/11/01. So that tallies with 15 years because it's 2024. So I'm 14 years, which is not million miles away. Let's put this in here, like that. Turn the power back on. Set it to rinse, 24 minutes. Speed, I don't really care because I'm just rinsing off some dirty trousers before I do a regular wash. Temperature will be 0. 0, yeah. 0 degrees C or blank. Let's see what it does. So the water coming in is kind of lame, but that shouldn't matter. It's been doing this like its whole life. No, it's not been doing it its whole life. It's been doing this. Oh, the water's actually coming in okay, I reckon. It's been doing this for the last couple of years, but it's only used intermittently. Now it should take 2 minutes to fill up to wherever it's going to fill up to. I have just blown on that pipe, so maybe it'll work. So you can hear this solenoid here. Presumably it's this one on. I could take the inlet out of the back and check for a filter. Like there's normally a filter somewhere in there to check, but I don't think there's any issue because like it is getting water, and it looks vigorous enough to me. It's not like splashing out, but it's not, it should be better than this. So 23 minutes, was it 24? It should begin turning in a second. So maybe you'll either see what I mean about there not being enough water in it, or it'll fill up and be fixed. I'm hoping it'll fill up. And this job will all be done, and I'll be very grateful for the community response. That solenoid sounded like it was kind of racing a bit. Hasn't done it since I turned the camera back on. Kind of intermittent or something. But the water hasn't changed, so I'm not sure what I'm saying here. Could there be a fault with the solenoid valve? Like potentially. Hasn't done it since I said it. That's how these things go. It's still saying 23, but it feels like it's been on a few minutes now. It hasn't begun to turn yet. Still on 23 minutes. Feels longer. No sign of any water coming up. Well, is there? Yeah, actually there is a little bit of a wobbly bit of water there coming up. Maybe we came good. I know that Balfi was one of the commenters who raised blowing into the pressure pipe. A couple of people said it, I think. Maybe not, maybe it was just Balfi. And mentioned that it could, like I thought blowing into the pipe would have signified that the pipe was blocked. So it should always overfill, but he said it could be a little bit blocked in our back and forth. I am seeing water in there now, and I think this may be, if this is fixed, this will be excellent. Because I haven't turned on that tap, that red tap. Now, it's turning. Oh, I'm gonna say that's a lot better. Oh, that's way better. It wasn't like that before. Have we found a solution? It's taken on more water even at that. I think Balfi and all the other people who helped may have come up with the goods. Could it have been as simple as taking the top off, taking a clip off and blowing, using the power of your lungs down that pipe? I think we might be off to the races, or we might be home and dry, or any of the other figures of speech. 22 minutes. How's it looking? So it's building up that water again in there. It's very hard to see down that crack there between the drum and between the drum and the rubber seal, but it is, and it's already saturated all the laundry, which it was just never doing before on that first turn. You should never stick your hands with a wet cloth into a machine that's live. Don't do what Donnie Don't does. I'm clearly not doing this to a live machine. Oh, we might be winning. Look, it's almost up to the top of the rubber there. Can we see it any better? There's no better angle really. It's not up on the glass. It's still on 22 minutes. Now this has taken a lot longer than 22 minutes, but of course this is a countdown timer. So it's waiting for something to happen. So because it's taken longer to fill, I think we're winning here. It's never done this in the last year. I hope this is good now. What I'll do is I'll let this one run. Well, let's just see. Okay, so it's off to the rinse now. Pounding those jeans, 2 pairs of jeans, or three pairs of jeans and a hoodie, so it's given them a good beating. They're saturated, and it's just started taking on even more water. Well, I think we're winning. This could be quite a long and dull video, but it does look like this is a solution. Might have to make a short for all the people who haven't got the patience to watch this. So what I might do anyways, I was going to say I'll stay with it until it clearly stops filling and we see what water level it is at. So previously, you could never see the V of water on the door. And we're not there yet. And it doesn't have the option of higher water level. It has intense, but not higher water level. But it hasn't finished filling. It might have, but it, you know, well, it's down to 21 minutes, so that might have been the 3 minutes to let it fill. But I can see on the clock, I've been talking for 5 minutes and I started at 23 and it's gotten to 21, so it's taken on more water. That's what I'm interested in, so I'm sticking with it here. I would like to see if it comes up the glass, because if it does come up the glass, even just a little bit, it's a sure sign that we've got a remedy. Is it coming up? Is there a puddle of water coming up just now? Not quite, but it's looking good. It stopped filling again. We're on 21 minutes. Now I fitted this faucet that was, I don't know, 12 pounds of stuff, 12 euros, something like that. I had the pipe in the corner, I just needed the T-piece and tap and back fitting. What's it going to fill to? So it's not filling up the glass, but it is doing okay. So what we'll do is we'll watch this. I'll watch this until it ceases to fill anymore, and then perhaps I'll do another wash. I have to do another wash anyway because this laundry is going in after the rinse for a regular cotton wash, and that'll tell me how it's performing, because this might be the answer. So there could have been some little bit of soap scum or snot or something in that pipe. Now the reality is that there's usually like a plastic bottle or something in underneath there, and that could have snots in it and they could dislodge and all that and come back in again in the pipe. So I need to keep an eye on it for a few days and see what's happening, but I'd like to see what it does on the main wash. This is already soaking wet and rinsing quite well, is what I would say. And I can see the water level in there. It's below the rim of the drum, but it's way higher than it's been before. Now we wash cloth nappies in this house at the moment, so even though I fitted this and it seems maybe that might be redundant now, it isn't, because I don't mind adding more water to the nappy wash, especially the first rinse of the nappies. I don't think there's any issue having too much water in that first cold rinse where you're trying to get any solids out of the way. This could be a success. We're down to 19 minutes. I'm going to call this a success for now, but I'll wait for the next wash just to see how we're getting on. It's definitely saturated and it definitely took on loads of water, so I'm quite pleased with that. So cheers, Balfi. Let's come back in a minute. So almost as soon as I stopped talking there, the drain pump has just come on. So it only rinsed for a few minutes. I don't think it does 2 rinses. Can you hear it? It's starting to labour now because there's no water down in the bottom. So until it starts to spin, it's labouring. It almost sounds like it's... No, it's pumping just fine, but it sounds like there might be something caught in it as well. I'll have to check that too, so I'll do that after this wash. But where I was going with this was 18 minutes, there might be a second rinse coming. We'll keep an eye on it. It's at 14 seconds now, and it's taking on water. But it doesn't... Where's it going in? It doesn't sound like much there now. So let's try and check that out. Is that down? Oh, it's going in for the... Oh, it's a bit grim in there. Need to clean that. It's going down the fabric conditioner end this time for some reason. So I wouldn't be a kind of person to use fabric conditioner, so it's unlikely to ever be something I'd see. But yeah, it's going in a different hole now. Can we see it coming up in there? So that started at 24, that was 10 minutes. 10 minutes, I'd say that was more like 20 minutes for that first spin. And I think it did two things. It took long to fill, and it also took a while to balance for its little spin. I've put the Boots Own sticker on there. I don't know why I didn't do it before. It seemed kind of silly not to. No water signs yet there. I can't see any. There's a, I wonder which that one that is. Is that the inside of a hoodie or a cloth? Might be a dishcloth that's in there. In with those jeans. I don't see the water coming up just yet, but it does take what I would say is about 3 minutes. So we'll come back in a sec when it's a bit fuller. Quite a hum comes off those solenoids. I can see water down there now coming in, but I don't really see it on that dishcloth, although it might be over the level of the cloth now. It does look like something's going on down there. I wonder how much will come in. It's been more than a minute so far. It has, it's been maybe 2 or 3 minutes. It's only gone down by a minute here, but can we see the level coming up? But it hasn't done any agitation. That time, I heard the distinct click of that valve. I keep calling it a valve, that pressure switch. It did click. That was it clicking again, so now it might let some more water in. I don't know, I'm paying attention this time. Yes, it knows to let more water in, so it'll let more water in because when it agitated there, it took some of the water from below, which must have relieved the pressure. I don't know. Let's listen to it. Could take a few minutes here. Can't see it coming up just yet. Try and get in close to it so we can hear the click. I heard the click. It does look good and wet in there. It's not above the level, it's not coming up in a V here, but it just clicked again. Will it take on more water after the next turn? Will it? Maybe that wasn't. That pump is ringing in there. Maybe it wasn't that. Maybe it was a relay. I think it's a relay on the board that's making that click, not the pressure switch. I don't know though. Keep listening. It's not taking on any more water this second, so. Any more? No, 11 minutes. That's a relay clicking that time. Okay. It doesn't look like we're going to get any more. If we do, we do. If not, might be coming back in the next wash. This is already an incredibly long video. I just missed it. I came back into the room. It's at 10 minutes and it was dropping a bit more water into it. And it looks like it's above the steel rim. Is it? Hard to say. But I think there's a lot more water in there than there ever was before. So it did let in a bit more. It'll be easier for me to monitor it when it's filling up from the start with the new load of clothes in it, or the extra clothes in it that are dry. Okay, it was already quite full of laundry, so I've added just a little bit more laundry. No, there we go. 40 is good enough for me. Speed, good high spin, None of this stuff. Let's go. Relay, water. Starts on this side normally and then flicks to this side. I'm guessing that's just to clear the drawer in case you put it in the wrong drawer on a main wash for cotton. So that's the number 1 side and that's the number 2 side. If you can get a focus, it's covered in dust. So it should do this one. Yeah, there you go. You can see it coming in. It'll wash all that soap down the drawer. And then this should fill up. And this should click. And we might be off to the races. I've said off to the races already. Fast forward. So most of the laundry was already saturated, or well, saturated and spun from the previous wash, previous rinse. So maybe that'll affect how much water goes in, I don't know. It is quite lethargic, but I think that's got to do with the water pressure in the house. But that shouldn't, the pressure in the house shouldn't affect the pressure in the pressure switch. So that was the relay for the motor. I don't know if the pressure switch clicks and instantly the relay comes on. I think it's unlikely, but maybe. It's behaving differently this time because the laundry is damp already. I've got bubbles. I've got more water. I heard the click that time, but I'd like to hear it clicking off. I'm guessing that was it, along with the motor. Everything probably happens in quite a quick chain. I don't know which one I hear. You're not convinced?
I'm not convinced, no.
I can try taking it out, taking it outside, giving it a full clean.
The whole washing machine.
The whole of, it's this grey pipe here is what I blew into.
Right.
Giving that a clean. There was definitely more water in it on the rinse than there is in this.
Okay.
That's the boiler coming on there, so it must reckon the water's in it now. You can hear this kind of fizzing at the bottom.
Yeah.
Not when it's in between. You hear it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's quite right now. So it's not as full of water as it was on the rinse, and that's not really adequate. I would like to see it. I would like to see water in the bottom of it when it's washing. And I don't. I think it's not got enough water in it, really. And I can hear the boiler in the bottom there, but I can't see water splashing around. So what I'm going to do is turn on this water now. See how far up the door it comes. I think what I'm going to have to do in a separate video, I don't think there's any adjustment on that pressure switch. I'm going to have to take that bottom of that black pipe off and check out where it's coming from and see if there's any bits in there. I think that's the only option. Let's turn on that tap. Let's add as much water as I think it's, until it's coming up the glass in the door where I think it's adequate. And this will be the end of this video, and you can tell me what you think. We'll try it again in a different video. So it hasn't taken on any more water through the solenoid since I turned that tap on. But I have added quite a bit of water, and I'll add a bit more now until it comes up. You can see the bubbles at the bottom there now coming up, the water coming up onto the rubber seal, onto the door. That's kind of where I prefer it to be. I think that's adequate. Now that, I don't know if this is an A-rated machine, but apparently that was the thing at the time, was to make them A-rated. They put very little water into them, so they used very little electricity heating that water. And I learned that from the comments section in the last video. Okay, I think that is enough water. And I can see bubbles, which is what I like. That's probably a bit too much water, really. Down there like that, but there you go. Right, I'll let this wash and then I'll check it on the rinse to see how it's going. So it's just done one rinse. It's done its main wash, one rinse. There's still bubbles in the door. We've added more water to the first rinse. Once it does this spin, we'll add some more water. This is the process we've been going through. It's not solved yet, so I'm gonna have to have another go at either blowing down that again or something else. Tell me what you think. Any help's appreciated. If you are not a member already, think about joining the channel. You can also subscribe for free, hit the bell icon, and give us a like, I'd appreciate it. Questions or comments, leave them below. Thanks for watching. See you later.